My name is L.A. Marzulli. This is a special report. I am okay, and I am in Oklahoma, and I'll be getting into this and so much more. But first, a word from our trusted sponsor.
Folks, you're feeling unsure about your finances these days. Well, you're not alone. That's why Noble Gold Investments is here to help. Just hear it straight from the folks that they've helped. The Noble crew walk me through everything, no stress. With Noble Gold's help, I can finally sleep easy at night. And now this month, Noble Gold Investments is handing out a free 5-ounce silver American the Beautiful coin if you qualify for an IRA. Invest in gold and silver with Noble Gold Investments. Go to noblegoldinvestments.com now. That's noblegoldinvestments.com, folks. Remember, we've invested with them, and I am really glad we did. But number to call, 877-646-5347. Once again, that's 877-646-5347. We invested with them, and I'm glad we did, especially when we look at the trillions of dollars that the United States is in debt. If it collapses, you and I both will be glad we put some of our money into gold or silver.
As most of you know, or maybe you don't know, but our Israel tour was canceled. I was speaking at the Prophecy Watchers Conference, which was a great conference, by the way. I spoke twice on Friday. We were getting ready to leave on Saturday morning. The plan was to fly to Atlanta. We had everything was already booked. Fly to Atlanta, bivouac there, and then Sunday morning we were going to take actually Sunday afternoon fly into Israel. So Bob Ulrich calls me up around 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning and goes, "Oh my gosh, you see what's going on?" I go, "No, what? Israel's at war." I hop on the internet immediately, and it's everywhere. Netanyahu has declared war. This was probably about 7 o'clock by that time. By 8 o'clock, I had written Lipkin tours and said, if Netanyahu had not declared war, things would be different. But because Netanyahu has declared war, I'm calling off the tour because I'm going to bring 50 people. In the meantime, we had several people who were in Turkey early, and they were going to arrive in Israel in a couple of days. This is Saturday morning, so they would be arrived. They would spend a day or two in Turkey, do some sightseeing, and then fly into Tel Aviv from there on Monday. That did not happen. According to Lipkin Tours, there's one person in our tour group who's still over there, and they've arranged to get out, I think, on Thursday. It's not definite, but that's what I've heard. Everybody else has stayed home. We covered your prayers. We thank you. It is a war zone. All the sites that we were going to are basically you can't get to, especially in northern Israel, which is where a lot of the sites were. As soon as we find out what's going on, when we can reschedule the tour, I'll let you know. We are taking signups for next year. This thing may drag on. We have no idea where it's going to go, and that's what gets me into this. So what I want to do is I want to get into a history lesson because this is really important. It's how we got here. This is the old Ottoman Empire, and what most people you don't even hear it on the news media, which is it just drives me nuts. This is the old Ottoman Empire, all in that dark brown, and you can see how large it is, how big it is. After World War One, when the Turks, the Ottoman Empire, the Ottoman Turks, they sided with Germany, and so they lost their empire essentially. The French and the British came in, as well as the Americans, but mostly the Brits and the French came in and carved it up and created the modern day states that we see today of, here they are right here, Syria, Lebanon, Jordan, Israel, and Iraq. 5 states. And some of them were ruled by the Hashemite kings. Jordan, Syria, and Iraq were all ruled by the Hashemite kings. Hashemites were the direct descendants of Muhammad, which is why they did this. But let's go back to slide 1. What people don't understand is these nations were just created from 1917. They were part of the Ottoman Empire and had been so for about 400 years. So now you get these people, the Brits and the French, who don't understand the ethnicity and really the difference between Sunni and Shia and all this other stuff, and they create these modern nations that we see here. Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Jordan, and of course Israel, 1948 becomes a nation. This goes back into a two-state solution. So what I want to get into here is for those of you who say, and there are a lot of people who say this, that Israel has no right to the land, blah, blah, blah. Well, let's be fair. If Israel has no right to the land, then these modern nations that we see have no right to the land either, because it's all under or was under Ottoman rule. So what we'll do is we'll get rid of all these states. We'll get rid of Iraq and Syria, Lebanon, Jordan, and Israel, and give it back to the Turks under the Ottoman Empire, and everybody can just go home and be happy. But they're not going to do that. They'll never do that. So what we see here is that everybody is entitled to the land, but nobody talks about the history, how Syria became Syria, how modern-day Iraq became Iraq. Remember, Iraq was ruled by the Hashemites until the Ba'ath Party came in and deposed Saddam Hussein. This is all a matter of history, which is not talked about, but it's needed to be talked about, because it's not. It shows that these nations were incredibly unstable from the get-go. Syria was ruled by the Hashemite kings. They were also deposed, and now we've got Bashar al-Assad clinging on to power. In Jordan, the king of Jordan is still a Hashemite king, and that's the only Hashemite kingdom that is left. So the conflict comes down to, who are the Palestinians? Well, there are no Palestinian people. There is no Palestinian language. Palestinians are just another group of Arabs. I mean, there's no genetic markers that would signal that these are Palestinian. They're Arabs is what they are. And so when Israel declared its independence, these Arab nations went in and attacked Israel from several sites. By the way, Cairo is also, Egypt is also a, let's go back up to slide number 1. You can see the northern part of North Africa was all under the Ottoman Empire. I mean, they controlled the coast, the trade, and everything else. It was a vast empire. And Egypt, of course, gained its independence later. So it's okay for everybody else to have a land, but it's not okay for the Jews. And remember, the United Nations voted to give Israel a piece of land, but that doesn't work. And again, it should work, because Israel has a right to the land. There's an ancient prophetic text which says, I will regather you from the four corners of the earth and reestablish you in your ancient homeland, never to be removed again. So this is what we're looking at. And just to make it really clear, Israel is not, Israel has done things which they shouldn't have done. In this case, it's indefensible, absolutely indefensible, in my opinion, what went on from Hamas coming across the border. We're looking at women and children slaughtered, babies beheaded, according to the news media. These are war atrocities. These are war crimes. Israel has every right to go in. For those of you, another history lesson. The deal was this land for peace deal. So Israel gave back the Gaza Strip, mistake number 1. They gave the land for peace. As soon as 24 hours had gone by. This is all a matter of historical record. I'm not making it up. It's not fake news. 24 hours after Israelis cleared out of Gaza, the mortar fire started coming across the border, less than 24 hours. So Israel gives the land, but there is no peace. Since then, there is this constant border crossing fires. The Arabs will send balloons with flares and kites and all this stuff during the summer harvest to burn the wheat fields. It just goes on and on and on. The land of the suicide bombers, and this is why Israel has created these walls. So the highest holy day, Israel has not had a war like this in basically 50 years. The Yom Kippur War, 50-year anniversary essentially, and these butchers, because that's what they are, come in, and we've seen some of the atrocities that have gone on and will continue to go on. So Israel is amassing a lot of troops and a lot of weapons, and they will go in to what is Gaza. The question is, will they retake Gaza? In my opinion, that's what they need to do. They need to completely eradicate Hamas. Hamas is a terrorist organization. They need to get rid of it. So our good friend of the ministry, Bill Salas, he was just on. We have not done anything with that interview yet. We'll show you that interview maybe tomorrow, more than likely next week, but we'll see. So ProphecyDepotMinistries.com, ProphecyDepotMinistries.com. The Bill Salas brief assessment of what's currently happening in the war between Israel and Hamas. If events escalate, another terrorist organization or enemy countries join in against Israel in the conflict, and this could have prophetic implications. such as Psalm 83. Psalm 83 is when Israel expands her borders. We are certainly looking at something like that. Of course, if Hezbollah in the north and Lebanon has to get involved in the fray, they were doing lobbing some grenade launchers and some Katyusha rockets apparently over the border. Israel has amassed material, troops, tanks, the whole deal on the Lebanese border, but they haven't done anything yet. We'll see what happens. Isaiah 17 is an ancient prophetic text talking about the complete and utter annihilation, the destruction of the city of Damascus. Let's go back to our first map. You can see Syria. It does not show Damascus, but Damascus is in Syria. And that is an ancient prophetic text that has never happened. Jeremiah 49, 34, 39 is a strike against literally the area. Let's go back into Iraq where the Bashir reactor is. So it's a very complex mix here. We don't know what exactly is going on. I do find it absolutely interesting that the Bible speaks of all this. These are prophecies. Behold, I will make you tents of Edom, Palestinian refugees, small among the nations. You shall be greatly despised. Yes, Jeremiah 49. Psalm 83, all the men in your confederacy shall force you to the border of Israel. The men at peace with you shall deceive you and prevail against you. Those who eat your bread shall lay a trap for you. No one is aware of it. The house of Jacob, the IDF, shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph, IDF, a flame. But the house of Esau, the Palestinians, shall be stubble. They shall kindle them and devour them. No survivors shall remain in the house of Esau. The Lord has spoken. And of course, Psalm 83 is the proxy war. Go to Prophecy Depot Ministries. We don't really cover this anymore, but this is the update. It affected all of our lives. It's affecting your life. Here's the deal, folks. The question is, how far will this escalate? There's the map. You can see Israel. You can see Lebanon above. Lebanon, southern Lebanon, is ruled by Hezbollah. They have at least 150,000 rockets ready to go. They are Iran's proxy. And you can see up in the upper right-hand corner, there is Tehran. So all of this, in my opinion, has the Iranian fingerprints all over it. We're just going to have to wait and see what plays out. It could escalate. Let's hope it doesn't. But we know this for sure. Israel will go into the Gaza Strip, and they will clean house. They need to clean house. Meanwhile, hostages are down in tunnels. Hamas has threatened to execute and televise the execution. This is incredibly barbaric. How anyone can defend this is beyond me. So I'm not a hawk. I'm not a war guy. I look forward to the day when weapons are beat into plowshares, which happens in the millennium. So if you are an amillennialist and you do not believe in the millennium, of course, all this doesn't mean anything. If you're premillennial and you know the prophecies that are written in the guidebook of a supernatural, i.e. the Bibles, our Bibles, then you know that what we could be looking at is a escalation. We'll see. Let's hope, and I hope, that cool heads prevail. Anyway, folks, thanks so much for watching. I know this sounds self-serving, but life does continue. Our cattle mutilation number 6, it is available along with further evidence. That book is incredible. It's got lots and lots of stories, firsthand, secondhand, close encounters of the first, second, third, and fourth kind. I will be reading from the book next week when I am back in our undisclosed location deep in the Santa Monica Mountains. So you want to go to lamarzulli.net, lamarzulli.net. Stolen Seed is also available, lamarzulli.net. We sold over 100 copies of Stolen Seed at the Prophecy Watchers, and I just want to give Bob Ulrich and Gary Stearman and Mondo Gonzalez, maybe not in that order, but Bob's the one who puts on the conferences. Bob's the one who arranges everything, and that conference is the best conference of the year, in my opinion. Nothing comes close to it. No other conference that I'm aware of even touches it. So I know we'll be back in Orlando next year, and I'm looking forward to that. ProphecyWatchers.com, but live streaming is still available, ProphecyWatchers.com. If something does happen, I will be back, and I will be talking about it, because I need to keep you updated from a prophetic viewpoint. Don't forget our 5 DVD box set. It's all there. lamarzulli.net, lamarzulli.net. I do stand with Israel, and let's pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Thanks so much for watching. I am your intrepid host, L.A. Marzulli. We'll see you back here tomorrow.